A shocking menopausal discovery from the Women's Brain Institute has stunned the world. Scientists wanted to uncover the root cause of menopause, but they weren't ready for what they found. You see, millions of women all over the world suffer from unbearable hot flashes, uncontrollable weight gain, constant exhaustion, and brain fog. And these scientists wanted to find out why this happens. But more importantly, how to put an end to the misery once and for all. After analyzing thousands of women's brains over many, many years, they finally cracked it. You see, each rainbow-colored scan came back like this, clearly exposing a critical difference between your brain state before menopause and after, exposing the truth that can't be denied anymore, that the only root cause of menopause isn't found in your ovaries. It isn't found in your womb, but it's found inside your brain. This breakthrough revelation has menopausal experts shook to their core because they've been searching for the cause and solution in all of the wrong places. Neuroscientists are now calling it the menopause meltdown. In fact, Harvard scientists have just started studying it because the menopause meltdown is what causes the symptoms that make your body feel alien after 40. But there's good news. You see, there is one way to reverse the menopause meltdown. And luckily, it's as easy as turning on a light. It all comes down to an estrogen switch solution that any woman can use. It helps you solve the root cause of menopause that's triggered in the brain so that you can go back to feeling as energized and at peace as you were in your 20s. This flies in the face of what your doctor, the mainstream media, or even your girlfriends might have told you, because it has nothing to do with HRT, guiding, or excessive exercise, but instead a 5-second safe ritual. If you stay with me for the next 3 minutes, I'm going to share exactly what this groundbreaking discovery is, so you can go back to being the woman you were before menopause made your life an everyday struggle. Because once you know how easy it is to reverse your menopause symptoms, you'll go from burning up, having multiple hot flashes a day, to feeling as cool as a cucumber. You'll drift off peacefully to sleep as soon as your head hits the pillow, and bounce out of bed every morning full of energy. Your mind and memory will be as razor sharp as they were in your prime. Your mood will be positive and balanced all day long. No more snapping at your partner and feeling guilty. You'll even enjoy thicker, glossier hair, stronger nails and plump-looking skin, flexible joints and increased sex drive, and blissful moments with your partner, children, and grandchildren, which is exactly what happened to my beautiful wife, Sarah. Within a matter of months, her favorite little black dress fit her like a glove. Without going on a starvation diet, doing lots of cardio, or taking medications that came with all kinds of side effects. My wife's the only reason I discovered this breakthrough in menopause science. I had to, for the sake of Sarah's sanity and our marriage. I'll never forget the look on Sarah's face when her 6-year-old nephew accidentally fat-shamed her in front of all of our family and in our own home. But more on that in just a second. First, it's important for you to know that this breakthrough discovery is even shocking menopause scientists worldwide. These neuroscientists discovered that menopause symptoms begin when a chemical in your brain begins to deplete around the age of 40. This makes you vulnerable to the menopause meltdown. It finally explains why changing your diet, exercising, taking doctor-prescribed medicines, and even using hormone replacement therapy rarely makes a difference for millions of menopausal women. So I urge you to stay with me until the very end of this short presentation, because not only am I going to reveal exactly what this chemical is and how it's responsible for keeping your weight down, your mood up, and your skin glowing, but I'll also explain the 5-second estrogen switch ritual that keeps this hormone safe and protected so you can fall back in love with your body, mind, and life again within a matter of weeks. You'll also discover why women in some cultures go through menopause without gaining any extra weight, while women in Western countries pile on the pounds despite all their hard efforts. And you'll also find out why two menopausal women with the exact same lifestyles and habits can experience completely different symptoms. If you're thinking, how do I know this will work for me? I understand your skepticism. My wife Sarah was incredibly skeptical when she first heard about this estrogen switch ritual. But when she saw the miraculous research from renowned neuroscientists at the Women's Brain Initiative and felt the results for herself, it changed her life forever. So if you're currently going through perimenopause or menopause, this will work for you. No matter if you're 35, 45, or even 55. Stay with me, and in a few moments, you'll discover a little-known secret that's transforming women's lives, offering relief where countless other treatments have failed. But before I share this incredible breakthrough, I should introduce myself. Hi, I'm Mark Benson. I'm 53 years old, and I live in a tight-knit community in Ohio with my 3 amazing children and my beautiful wife, Sarah. Sarah and I have been happily married for over 20 years, and we do nearly everything together, like volunteering at the local church, teaching our kids how to plant in the garden, even coaching our kids' Little League team. We've been blessed with a lot in our lives, and today we're happier than we've ever been. But unfortunately, it wasn't always this way. You see, around this time 2 years ago, Sarah began having some major issues out of the blue. It all started with Sarah feeling more and more run down. She felt so scatterbrained that she needed to drink 4 cups of coffee to stay alert at work. The joints in her hips, knees, and back were excruciatingly painful, that she couldn't lift herself from the couch without me helping her. I just thought Sarah was exhausted from doing it all because she's always been the glue that holds our family together. But she would get so hot at night, she told me it felt like she was burning in a sauna, despite the AC blowing ice cold air. So we knew something was wrong. Sarah tossed and turned every night, getting little to no sleep, which made her mood swings erratic from morning to night. The kids started calling her Jekyll and Hyde because they never knew what mom they'd get that day. On top of all that, I could feel us growing further apart. Our marriage became less about love and more about seeing how long we could go without a fight. Sarah told me she felt less feminine, that she didn't have the sexual urges she used to. I couldn't remember the last time we'd really kissed, never mind made love. I thought it was my fault, but she told me it felt like she was losing control. Not only of her mind, but her body too. After giving birth to 3 beautiful children, I still thought Sarah's body was in good shape. When she'd walk around the house in her cute pajamas, well, I thought I was the luckiest man on earth. But around Sarah's 47th birthday, her metabolism took a nosedive. She started gaining weight all over her body, including her hips, legs, upper arms, and belly. Her once non-existent waistline was now carrying rolls of fat that jiggled when she walked. Sarah's once defined jawline was now round and soft. The weight kept piling on until she had an extra 40 pounds on her 5'2" frame. We didn't know what was going on until one day Sarah confided in me that her period was very late, and instantly it made sense. All the hot flashes came on suddenly, as if she was sitting in the Sahara Desert. The stubborn weight that clung to her belly, thighs, and arms, and how she would make passive-aggressive comments at least several times a day, turning Sarah into a shadow of her former self. Maybe it was the menopause. She was going through the roller coaster mood swings she'd read about in the glossy magazines. Her skin became dull and lifeless, as if she had aged 10 years overnight. And her hair became thin and brittle, like running your fingers through a haystack. Sarah started to feel real shame about going through menopause earlier than she'd expected. She felt embarrassed, unable to talk to anyone about what she was going through, so she turned to emotional comfort eating, raiding the fridge in the middle of the night, sneaking our kids' Hershey's Kisses for herself. We both knew it was time for Sarah to see the doctor. But when we got there, all he had to say was,
"You have to lose weight,"
in a patronizing voice, as if Sarah didn't already know.
"What you're experiencing is just a part of menopause,"
the doctor said. handing Sarah a pamphlet about hormone replacement therapy, otherwise known as HRT. Reading the pamphlet and its laundry list of side effects that HRT has, like the increased risk of heart disease, strokes, blood clots, specifically deep vein thrombosis, and breast cancer. Sarah ripped up the pamphlet and I held her hand, promising that we'd find another way. But she stared out the car window like her life was already over. The only thing that kept Sarah going was her excitement for Christmas. Sarah's yearly Christmas party at our home had become legendary. But this year was different. At 47, battling unforgiving weight gain and erratic mood swings, I told Sarah that it might be best for us to sit this year out. But Sarah insisted we keep to our tradition. Planning the holiday feast was the only thing that took her mind off everything. On the day of the Christmas party, Sarah forced herself to smile, but I could see the self-loathing on her face. She usually dressed up in something red and glittery every year, but this year, Sarah was dressed in an oversized Christmas-themed sweater, trying hard to hide her flabby arms and protruding belly. As our guests arrived, Sarah wouldn't even come out to greet them at the door. Instead, she stayed in the kitchen, spending hour after hour cooking her famous Christmas feast. Finally, Sarah came into the dining room to say hello to everyone. Her little nephew Jimmy lit up like a Christmas tree as soon as Sarah burst through the doors. And like he always did, Jimmy came charging at Sarah, ready for her to scoop him up into her arms and lift him. But this time was different. Before Sarah knew it, Jimmy had bounced off of her stomach like a bouncy castle and hit the floor like a sack of potatoes. The thud was so loud, our neighbors probably heard it. Everyone's face around the table was in shock, worrying that Jimmy had hurt himself, until suddenly he giggled uncontrollably, saying,
"Your new big belly is fun, Auntie. Let's do it again."
Within seconds, the whole room exploded into a roar of laughter. But I wasn't laughing, and neither was Sarah. Instead, I could see her biting down on her bottom lip, painfully fighting the tears away that were silently rolling down her face. "Excuse me," Sarah whispered, and she ran out of the room. The room fell silent as we suddenly heard Sarah running up the stairs, sobbing uncontrollably. I chased after Sarah, trying my hardest to comfort her, reminding her that kids don't know what they're saying half the time. I practically begged Sarah to continue the evening, but she was so hot, flustered, and embarrassed, she couldn't even look me in the eyes, let alone face seeing everyone again. So one by one, all of the guests left, realizing the holiday cheer was unsalvageable. As I said goodbye to our final guest, I knew I had to do one of two things. One, I could watch mine and Sarah's marriage crumble to nothing as we headed for the divorce that was in our future. Or two, I could make the choice I did, the choice to fight for my wife and our family, the choice to discover the truth about the real cause of menopause and how to help Sarah stay cool from morning till night, have laser sharp focus, a slim frame, buckets of energy, constant high spirits, well into her 40s, 50s, and beyond. The choice to wake up every morning knowing that I had done everything in my power to save the woman I loved. After the party, I realized that one of our guests had stayed behind. It was Daisy, Sarah's cousin. Daisy told me she could relate to what Sarah was going through. She'd suffered through the same menopausal symptoms not too long ago. Daisy told me she had just gotten back from a year traveling South America, where she decided to spend the bulk of her time in the Amazon. While she was there, she met a holistic doctor deep in the rainforest called Dr. Diaz, who transformed her life. Dr. Diaz helped Daisy regain control over her body temperature so that even in the heat of summer, she doesn't break a bead of sweat. Thanks to Dr. Diaz, Daisy became more calm, patient, and joyful, which helped her form close relationships with her friends and family again. Daisy was a pleasure to speak to. Even I could see that. So I couldn't believe there was a point where she had it in her to bite anyone's head off. And looking at the petite, athletic woman in front of me, it was hard to think that Daisy ever had an ounce of fat on her slim frame. I told Daisy that we'd seen a doctor before, and how he had prescribed Sarah HRT. But Daisy assured me Dr. Diaz wasn't like most doctors. Dr. Diaz believes in a holistic approach to help women go through menopause. I was still a bit skeptical, so I asked Daisy to show me where I could find this doctor online. But she told me Dr. Diaz isn't online. She's not easily found at all. Daisy only knows her by a stroke of luck, moving to the very village where Dr. Diaz lives, in the Amazon. So how am I supposed to talk to her? I asked Daisy. She stepped closer to me and looked over her shoulder, as if she was worried someone would hear our conversation. Here's her phone number, Daisy said, handing me her phone. She doesn't really take calls, but if you keep trying and don't give up, I'm sure you'll get the answers you need. I typed Dr. Diaz's number into my phone, concentrating hard to not enter a single digit wrong. My wife's life depended on it. I thanked Daisy for her kindness and watched as she left our home like an angel going into the night. I checked the time zone in the Amazon and was pleased to find out it was the same as here in Ohio. So the next morning I woke up at 6 a.m. to call Dr. Diaz. I was a man possessed. Something deep inside me knew this doctor could stop Sarah's suffering. But there was no answer. I figured it was a little too early, so I tried again an hour later. Still no answer. Then another hour later, and this time the call wouldn't connect at all. I worried the number had blocked me. But sure enough, on the fourth call, I heard a voice on the other end of the line.
Hello.
A sweet, elderly voice said. I could hardly contain my excitement, but I tried my best to stay calm and composed. Hi, I'm Mark Benson. Is this Dr. Diaz?
No, wrong number.
She said. But something told me she was just saying that, trying to get me off the phone hurriedly. Before she hung up, I told her that Daisy had given me her phone number. There was a pause, as if she was wondering what to do with me.
Where are you from?
She asked.
I only work with women in my village.
But there was no way I was giving in that easily. I poured my heart out to her, telling her all about the hell Sarah was going through, and that Sarah was Daisy's cousin. I basically begged Dr. Diaz for her secret, or even just a hint, anything. There was another long pause, until finally Dr. Diaz let out a heavy sigh. She told me that in South America, indigenous women have never needed the pharmaceutical industry. Instead, they rely on tradition to look and feel as youthful over 40 as they were in their prime. They embrace herbal ceremonies, pots of potions made from plants and botanicals, based on a recipe that has been passed down from generation to generation. Dr. Diaz told me that even at 85, she has never felt low on energy, struggled with joint pain, overwhelmed by hot flashes, or any of the awful symptoms linked to menopause. In fact, Dr. Diaz told me that when the pharmaceutical industry caught wind of this Amazonian miracle, they were mad that it might hurt hormone replacement therapy sales. So the pharmaceutical industry brought a lot of chaos and unrest to her village. After facing so much backlash, Dr. Diaz vowed to keep this secret for herself and her local women. She didn't want to bring any more pain or agony to her village. That's why she was so hesitant to speak to me. You can imagine how up until that point, I was sitting on the edge of my chair to find out what this secret herbal recipe is. That's when Dr. Diaz told me the shocking truth of what happens inside a woman's body after you turn 40. You see, when Dr. Diaz was first going through menopause, she took it upon herself to find the scientific solution, not for herself. Because thanks to the herbal potion that had been passed down through generations, she didn't suffer through a single symptom Western society knows so well. In fact, it wasn't until she met American tourists who visited her village who told her all about the ordeal that they go through that she even knew the common symptoms of menopause. So, intrigued, Dr. Diaz dug into the menopausal research, and this is what she found. While you might already know that menopause is due to your estrogen levels declining, that's just one half of the story. The second half that almost nobody knows is how rapidly estrogen declines inside your brain, and how, if you want to reverse your symptoms, you'll need to address your estrogen decline right here. But first, in order to truly understand why estrogen draining from your brain has such an impact on you, You need to know exactly how estrogen triggers your menopausal symptoms. You see, a lot of people define estrogen as just the female sex hormone, but it's a hormone that's present in both women and men. In women, it regulates the menstrual cycle and is critical for reproduction. That's why women who go through menopause can't have children anymore. It's also why a lot of women who go through menopause experience aches and pains in their joints so severe that it can make even the simplest act, like lifting yourself from the couch, feel impossible. Well, that's because estrogen is critical for maintaining bone density. In a nutshell, estrogen is your body's master conductor, orchestrating the production of other hormones, growth factors, and metabolic factors. The problem is, after 40, estrogen levels start to take a nosedive, causing the problems you know all too well. It's why many doctors prescribe HRT to try and top up the estrogen. The problem is, and the reason why HRT doesn't work for everyone, is because of what Dr. Diaz discovered next. See, when she looked closer at the estrogen decline in her own body and ran her own tests, she discovered there was a specific part of her body that lost the most amount of estrogen. You guessed it, it was her brain. This surprised Dr. Diaz so much. After all, these American tourists experience symptoms across their entire body. So Dr. Diaz dug deeper to see if this estrogen decline in the brain was unique to her or not. It turns out that the latest science has revealed that not only does estrogen decline in the brain of every woman, but it's also the primary reason why you experience symptoms as you enter peri and full menopause. This is why you can find headlines from prestigious health journals like Nature declaring that menopause reshapes the brain, or why Harvard has recently declared that women going through menopause experience a depletion over time of ovarian hormones such as estradiol, the primary form of estrogen that works in the brain. This explains why my wife and you experience symptoms. For instance, there's one structure of the brain that's called the hypothalamus that is in charge of regulating body temperature, and it's very sensitive to estrogen. That's one reason why women experience hot flashes that are so intense it feels like you could pass out, despite everyone telling you it's cold. Dr. Diaz explained this wasn't just her professional opinion, but it's supported by clinical studies from the world's leading universities and institutions. For example, neuroscientists from the Women's Brain Initiative have analyzed thousands of PET scans, which are three-dimensional images inside the body, to get definitive proof that menopausal women's brains change over time. In premenopause, your brain energy is high. In this PET scan, you can see how it's lit up by many bright red and orange blotches, which represents high glucose metabolism, the fuel for your brain. This is how a healthy female brain should look. In perimenopause, which hits women in their mid to late 40s, brain glucose metabolism slows by 10 to 15% or more, and the scan changes. Now, clearly the greens have gained territory over the red and orange spots, representing lower mental energy. These scans are rainbow-colored evidence that decreased levels of estrogen between the ages of 40 and 55 lead to what Dr. Diaz calls the menopause meltdown. So, in other words, if you're over 40 and are piling on the pounds despite working out consistently and counting calories, or if you feel so scatterbrained that you doubt whether you're able to work anymore, those are all telltale signs that the estrogen levels in your brain have plummeted, because your brain is responsible for every single chemical process in your body. Just imagine what this decline in estrogen levels is doing to your concentration, your mood, metabolism, joint mobility, and even your hand-to-eye coordination. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The American tourists told Dr. Diaz that they took natural supplements to help reduce their menopausal symptoms, but none of them worked. So Dr. Diaz researched the ingredients to see what the problem was. She found that the main ingredients in all of the natural menopause supplements, like Eletris, Chasteberry, star anise, ginseng, and many more, all inhibit an enzyme called aromatase. here's the real kicker. Aromatase inhibitors literally decrease estrogen to less than what's deemed as normal levels in a healthy individual, resulting in the development or worsening of hot flashes and vaginal dryness, which is why nothing you've tried so far has worked for you. The thing is, even though Dr. Diaz knew she needed a natural way to increase estrogen in the brain, it wasn't so easy. In fact, according to American Science, it had never been done before. Dr. Diaz became obsessed. She read through all of the scientific journals and even asked her doctor friends from all over the world who all thought she was crazy. Because you can't increase estrogen directly, but you can give your body the building blocks it needs to produce more estrogen safely by itself, no matter how old you are. And Dr. Diaz discovered that the only way to do that is through the aromatase enzyme she mentioned earlier. You see, brain-derived estrogen is produced exclusively by aromatase. That's when it all clicked. This is why all of the natural menopause supplements were getting it wrong, and how the supplement industry keeps you in a vicious cycle, buying pills that don't solve your issue and in fact make your health problems even worse, because these menopausal supplements inhibit aromatase, accelerating the hot flashes that make you feel like you're stuck in a hot sauna, the exhaustion that feels so overwhelming you need to take a nap by midday, and the extra layers of dimpled fat that cover your belly, thighs, and arms that makes you cringe every time you see your naked reflection in the mirror. But now was the really difficult part, finding a natural way to boost aromatase. First, Dr. Diaz studied the biology of women below 30. She knew there had to be a clue there somewhere, and indeed there was. Around the age of 30, testosterone levels begin to rapidly decrease in women's brains. But here's the real kicker. Dr. Diaz also discovered that testosterone gets converted into estrogen by aromatase, depleting testosterone levels and increasing estrogen levels. More specifically, brain-derived estrogen. It suddenly all made so much sense. The reason why women below 30 don't go through menopause like women over 40 is all because they have healthy levels of testosterone in their bodies, which is naturally being converted by aromatase enzymes in the body, turning those testosterone levels into brain-derived estrogen. Think of this process like how bread is made. Feeding yeast sugar produces carbon dioxide, which then creates a healthy loaf of bread. The same can be said for testosterone. As Dr. Diaz discovered, when you feed it your aromatase enzyme, it automatically and effortlessly produces brain-derived estrogen. That's when Dr. Diaz realized that all of the pure, safe herbs and plants inside her generational recipe helped her and the women in her village bypass menopausal symptoms because they were packed with aromatase enhancing enzymes, which have kept her estrogen levels at the perfect level they were before her 30s. Scientists are now calling this special mechanism the estrogen switch. You can just imagine how excited I was to hear what ingredients were in this special potion so that I could help Sarah finally get rid of the hot flashes, uncontrollable weight gain, anxiety, erratic mood swings, and troubling brain fog once and for all. But I had one question. Will the testosterone in your potion make my wife grow facial hair, get giant muscles, or have a deeper voice than me? For the first time during the entire call, I could hear Dr. Diaz smile on the phone, and she burst into laughter.
Don't be so silly.
She said. She assured me this wasn't a testosterone boosting potion, that instead it included the necessary natural amounts to help boost estrogen levels in the female brain. In fact, she said women feel even more feminine after using the potion because their hair will become glossier, their nails more pink and long, their energy for life reinvigorated, no more achy joints that make them bend over in unsightly positions, and the best part, no more embarrassment from sweat patches through clothes. So with my nerves settled, I pleaded with Dr. Diaz to finally share the secret potion recipe with me. The first ingredient Dr. Diaz told me about was Muera puama, Puama contains sterols, and aromatase enzymes love sterols because they provide the building blocks that can convert into estrogen. The crazy thing is, indigenous people of the Amazon have used Puama for centuries as a remedy for a sluggish central nervous system, and increasing mental performance, physical stamina, and reducing brain fog. The next ingredient was even more powerful: zingiber. Zingiber is used as a traditional medicine by menopausal women in Duhok City. A randomized clinical trial was conducted there. For 12 weeks on 50 menopausal women, 30 women were treated daily with zingiber. The other 20 women were given starch as a placebo. The most common menopausal symptoms among the women were hot flashes, night sweats, and joint pain. Zingiber significantly reduced the intensity of their menopausal symptoms, with a significant increase in serum estrogen levels. Why did it increase estrogen levels so drastically? Well, another study recently proved that supplementing with zingiber consistently for 3 months shows an incredible average increase of 17.7 in testosterone levels, which, as you know, provides your aromatase enzyme with what it needs to make brain-derived estrogen. This ingredient alone could help you maintain a normal body temperature, regardless of how hot the weather is. You'd sleep right through the night without waking up once. Enjoy going for long walks and playing with the children in your family without struggling through excruciating joint pains in your hips, knees, or back. Dr. Diaz's discoveries didn't end there. The next ingredient she told me about was really exciting: sarsaparilla. It's a tropical plant grown deep in the canopy of the rainforest, native to South America, Jamaica, and even the Caribbean. Similar to the Puama plant, sarsaparilla contains aromatase-loving sterols that can convert into brain-derived estrogen. Plus, native Amazonian communities traditionally take sarsaparilla to remedy symptoms of menopause, like reducing that irritable feeling that makes you snap at people you love and later feel guilty and regret things you said when you weren't feeling like your usual self. Straight away, I could see how this could help bring the bubbly, warm, kind-hearted Sarah back. As I listened to Dr. Diaz, I couldn't believe that reversing menopausal symptoms could be as simple as taking a precise ratio of natural, healthy herbs every day. The next ingredient she explained was mucuna pruriens. Mucuna pruriens increases dopamine levels in the brain, which not only helps you feel more pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation in life, but the increased dopamine levels can convert into brain-derived estrogen, helping you reduce the pent-up stress that makes every day feel like an uphill battle. The next ingredient Dr. Diaz recommended was ashwagandha. Ashwagandha grows in parts of the Middle East, Africa, and India. It also goes by the name of Indian ginseng and Indian winter cherry. Dr. Diaz says it's one of the cornerstone ingredients used in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries, and what scientists like to call the Swiss Army knife in traditional medicine, because it improves everything from slow digestion that leads to bloating to even reducing body fat that becomes hard to shift as you get older. But why it's included in Dr. Diaz's estrogen switch formula was clear to see. You see, in a double-blind study, patients were given a supplement of ashwagandha root extract twice per day. The results shocked everyone because testosterone levels came back around 5 times higher than those in the placebo group, which means 5 times the conversion by aromatase into brain-derived estrogen. This ingredient alone could wipe out all of your menopause symptoms in one go. I couldn't wait for Sarah to start taking all of these incredibly safe and naturally estrogen-inducing ingredients. But Dr. Diaz told us that there was a final ingredient she thoroughly urged Sarah to take, and that is horny goatweed. Despite its less than ordinary name, horny goatweed, also known as yin yan ho, is a flowering plant you've most likely seen in a lot of supplement formulas. For good reason. Horny goatweed has strong roots in Chinese medicine. And in one study, mammals were given oral doses of horny goatweed for 35 consecutive days. Scientists found that 50 milligrams and 100 milligram doses significantly converted aromatase into brain-derived estrogen, making it a no-brainer as to why Dr. Diaz added it to her estrogen switch formula. I quickly scribbled down the names of all the ingredients, bursting at the seams to order them all from Amazon. Not the country, but the online retailer. But Dr. Diaz told me ordering online was the worst thing I could do. In order for the formula to work, you have to source them from their origin, where the soil is perfect for growing each ingredient. That means sourcing Muira puama and sarsaparilla from the Amazon rainforest, ashwagandha from the Middle East, Africa, or India, and horny goatweed direct from China. So Dr. Diaz helped me locate exactly where I needed to go to source the ingredients. It was a long shot. First, spending all of this money on plane tickets, and then blending them all together into the exact ratio Dr. Diaz recommended. Would all of this work? I didn't have any other choice but to try. I would do anything to save my wife. So over the span of 6 months, I traveled all across the world, visiting each of the villages, cities, and towns Dr. Diaz instructed me to. Sure enough, when I mentioned her name, wherever I went, people were falling over backwards to help me, even giving me more herbs and plants than I needed. By the end of the 6 months, it was time for me to mix the potion. I told Sarah to take 1 teaspoon a day. She held her nose and swallowed them dry, followed quickly by a big gulp of water. The taste was worse than anything she'd ever tried before, but I begged her to take it every day, reminding her of all the incredible things Dr. Diaz told me it would do for Sarah's menopause symptoms. She agreed to continue taking it every day, even though she was still a bit skeptical. And thank God she did, because slowly, over the space of just a few weeks, things began to change. Sarah's night sweats that were usually so overwhelming she thought she was going to pass out became non-existent, to a point, in fact, where she thought the AC was blowing ice cold air when it wasn't even on. Her energy came roaring back, making her bounce out of bed every morning ahead of her 7 a.m. alarm clock, excited for the day ahead. Sarah stopped being so snappy and short with me and the kids, and instead woke us up every morning to the smell of her homemade pancakes and a warm hug to kick off all of our days. Even her blemish-free skin returned. Her skin was so smooth and plump that I thought she'd been getting weekly facials, but she assured me that she hadn't done a thing. When I ran my fingers through her hair at night, I braced myself, thinking it would catch on her dry, split ends. Instead, my fingers glided through her now shiny hair strands, like a hot knife, slicing through warm butter. But the thing that shocked me and Sarah to our very core was 4 weeks later, when I convinced her to step on the scale. I could see how much weight had been dropping from her frame, but she thought otherwise. No way have I lost weight this soon, she assured me. But when she stepped on the scales, they told a completely different story. Sarah's eyes were brimming with tears when she saw the numbers on the scale that were now 15 pounds lighter. A month after that, the new menopause clothes Sarah had bought kept falling off of her now tiny frame. And 4 weeks after that, well, she was my wife again. I thought I was living in a dream I didn't want to wake up from. It was like Sarah wasn't going through menopause anymore. Suddenly, she had the energy of a teenager, zooming up and down the stairs with no joint pain, cleaning the house, and making home-cooked meals every night, with plenty of energy left over to go for drinks with her friends in the evening. They couldn't believe it either. Her friends were so happy to have the old Sarah back. And so was I. One day when I came home late from work, I was worried she might bite my head off, like she had begun doing once she started going through menopause. But instead, when I walked through the front door, I heard her sweet voice call me upstairs to the bedroom, where she was dressed in nothing but lingerie. We shared the most passionate night of our lives, laughing and cuddling, blissfully in love, as if we hadn't been on the brink of divorce just a few months ago. That's when it hit me. I helped save my wife. But what I didn't know at the time is that we were just at the beginning of one crazy journey. You see, I didn't plan on sharing this secret herbal remedy with anyone. After all, it's not my recipe to share. Dr. Diaz created it. But Sarah's incredible transformation was impossible to keep a secret because once friends and family saw the change in her, both physically and mentally, they practically begged us to help them too. Sarah's friend Janet had just started going through menopause, and she was struggling to get rid of her menopause belly. So when she came to the house to see Sarah, her shocked face was a picture. "What the heck have you done?" she said to Sarah, sure that she must have gone under the knife. But Sarah told her all about the herbal remedy and generously poured some of her formula into a small container for Janet to try herself. A month later, Sarah got tagged in a Facebook post from Janet, and it made her spit out her coffee. It was a picture of Janet wearing a pair of jeans with the waistband hanging inches away from her hips, as if they were at least 2 sizes too big for her. Sarah had to zoom in real close to the photo to make sure it was really Janet she was looking at. That's when things started to get out of control. Immediately, friends and friends of friends, even strangers, all over the age of 40, were flooding comments onto the post, sharing it with their connections, and snowballing from there. That's when Sarah suddenly got a cult-like status locally, because everyone saw her husband as the menopause whisperer. She thought it was funny at first, until she was getting messages all day, every day, from complete strangers, telling her they'd been paying attention to get their hands on this special herbal remedy. But like I said, it wasn't mine to share. Dr. Diaz was the real genius behind the secret blend. So I reached out to her, showing her the hundreds of messages we'd received from women both locally and even out of state, begging for the secret. Dr. Diaz told me that she'd been getting the same interest for years now, but she didn't want to bring any undue attention and chaos to her village again. Plus, she no longer had the resources or time to source enough ingredients to make supplements for women all over the world. I called Dr. Diaz every single day, doing everything I could to convince her to change her no to a yes, so we could make this recipe more widely known for women like Sarah's friends, family, friends of friends, and people we didn't even personally know. The bottom line is, so long as women go through menopause, there was someone who was in need of this potion to finally find relief from the unrelenting symptoms. I couldn't rest until I had Dr. Diaz on board with our cause, until one day I finally got a phone call from her. As soon as I answered, all she said was, "You have my blessing." You see, Dr. Diaz doesn't care about money. In a way, I think of her as a sort of mad scientist, living in the depths of the Amazon rainforest with her tight-knit community, wanting to make women's lives better for the sake of humanity, not for her vanity. So Dr. Diaz wanted me to help women all around the globe to get their hands on this supplement and change their lives for the better. But I couldn't take all of the credit for Dr. Diaz's work. So we made a deal. Dr. Diaz would give me the rights to the formula, and I would give back to her village and community, passing the savings on to the customer. So I spent the next year traveling all over the world again, sourcing the finest produce of each ingredient in the special herbal blend. I even worked closely with a state-of-the-art manufacturer here in Ohio, who recommended we add additional ingredients to naturally sweeten the formula and take it to the next level. Plus, we created a capsule supplement of all the herbs, so you don't have to swallow the grainy texture that Sarah forced herself to inhale daily. We decided to call it MenoPhix because that's exactly what it's been able to do again and again for hundreds of regular, ordinary women going through menopause. It's helped their body feel familiar again by alleviating the night sweats and sleep disruptions, helping them to wake up feeling more energized every day. It's helped strengthen their relationships with loved ones by minimizing their mood swings and irritability that's used to make them overreact and lose control. And it's given them their confidence back, helping them lose the menopause belly and no longer feel betrayed by their own body. Here are some of the amazing stories from women just like you who have tried MenoPhix.
I took my first 2 3 days ago, and within a day, I can't believe what I am feeling. I didn't know it could work that fast, but all I can confirm is my experience. My brain fog, gone. My anxiety, gone. My energy, right back to normal, and no depression. Complete life changer. Good luck, ladies. We got this.
I was suffering really bad hot flashes during the day, but the night times were the worst, with the most awful night sweats, and I was sleeping really badly. Unable to take HRT, I decided to try MenoPhix, and I am so glad that I did. I have been taking them for 3 weeks now, and I have noticed a big difference. The hot flashes have been far less frequent, I am sleeping much better, and I feel able to face the day. I am sure with continued use, I will reap even more benefits.
Oh my goodness, I am so happy. I have recently started taking MenoPhix. 2 weeks in, guys, and I can feel the difference already. I was struggling with fatigue and aching just all over. Now I feel great, and my energy is much better. Pain in my neck and joints have gotten much better. Feeling normal again, and my skin looking better, and I don't feel as low as I did. Thank you.
Which brings us to now, and brings us to you experiencing the incredible results of MenoPhix for yourself. MenoPhix is the result of over a year of obsessive, intensive scientific research, testing, and work. Hard work we did so you don't have to. All you need to do is take 1 capsule daily at mealtime, and you'll finally get rid of the dreaded menopause belly and transform your figure into the slim frame you've been longing for. MenoPhix turns you into the woman you're meant to be, without the disastrous menopausal symptoms that make you feel like you're going crazy and that makes you burn up in a sudden hot flash and cringe with embarrassment. Instead, you'll realign your mind and body, being able to do the things you want to do because your body will feel as limber as it did 10 years ago. That's all because of the magic ratio of natural ingredients inside MenoPhix. Can you imagine what it will be like to finally have control over your body in a way you may have never even experienced it before? Think about it. How much is it worth to you to get 8 hours of solid sleep every night? To fall asleep as soon as your head hits the pillow and not wake up until it's bright and sunny outside? How much is it worth to you to be the talk of all your friends and family because they can't get over how amazing you look in such a short period of time? How much is it worth to you to never feel like you're getting old because your mind is sharp, you can rely on your memory, and you have so much energy that you bounce out of bed every morning ready to go? Just imagine all of that for a second. Really give yourself permission to feel what that will be like for you. Can you feel that? Then tell me, what would you say is a fair price to put a torch to your menopause symptoms and regain absolute control of your mind and body in just a matter of weeks, with less effort than it takes to drink a glass of water? If we're being completely honest with ourselves, I bet you'd say $297 or even more would be totally reasonable price to wake up after a solid night's sleep, realizing you didn't toss and turn in a pool of your own sweat, in the best mood you've been in a long time. But I'm not going to ask you to part with that kind of money. You see, my only mission in life is to help as many women over 40 as I can. After almost losing my own marriage and reigniting that flame so bright that I couldn't dream of waking up and she's not right beside me, I'd hate to know that there are other couples out there suffering, and the cause of it was pricing MenoPhix too high. I'm not in it for the money. All I need is to cover the costs of the manufacturer, our expenses to source all of the ingredients, plus Dr. Diaz's royalty that helps fund her beautiful village. So here's what I'm going to do. We've already agreed that a bottle of MenoPhix is worth at least $297. But because you've watched this video and given me some of your precious time, I'm not going to ask you to invest that much. I'm not even going to ask you for $97, even though you and I both know that this price would be a steal. No, right now, I'm going to do something a little bit crazy. As they say, I'm making you an offer you can't refuse. For as long as this video is up, as I know some of the other menopausal supplement companies are trying to take us down, literally as I speak, you can get your very own bottle of MenoPhix for the shockingly low price of $59. That works out to just $1.97 per day. However, I recommend the 3-month supply because once you see and feel your body transform within a matter of weeks, you won't want to stop. It's common for our warehouse to run out of stock because women are sharing their glowing reviews like crazy online. And it's proving difficult for our team to keep going back and forth around the world to source these ingredients. So for today only, you can get an entire 3-month supply for just $49 per bottle. That's just $1.63 per day to get your life back. Aren't you worth so much more than that? Well, before you answer that, check this out, because when you order at least 3 bottles of MenoPhix, I'm going to do something for you that's unheard of. I'm going to add not 1, but 2 free bonus gifts to your order. That's right. When you order more than 3 bottles today, you'll get the Menopause Detox. Usually retails for $27 outside of the estrogen boosting potion. I asked Dr. Diaz, what do indigenous women eat every day? And I was floored by her answer. You see, their meals are packed full of a variety of nutritious foods that are super easy to prepare and even more delicious to eat. So I just had to share them with you. When you order 3 bottles or more, you'll also receive every tasty meal the indigenous women eat that are designed to raise your brain-derived estrogen levels, keep you fuller for longer, reduce bloating, increase your energy, and have you feeling like $1,000,000. But that's not all. You'll also receive the Menopause Mindset Makeover. Typically it retails for $19. I knew that the estrogen boosting potion was to thank for Dr. Diaz's high energy. But I was curious, was there another reason for her constant state of calm, positive energy, and resilience? Well, Dr. Diaz told me it wasn't just thanks to the potion. In fact, for generations, the women in her village have followed daily rituals that are scientifically proven to increase your vibrational frequency, helping you feel happier, more lighthearted, and full of love. So when you order 3 or more bottles of MenoPhix, I'm also going to add a simple but powerful guide to your order that includes all of the rituals Dr. Diaz shared with me to support your mind, body, and spirit by alleviating stress, calming your mind, and boosting your estrogen levels naturally. It's packed with a variety of different mindfulness and meditation practices that won't take you longer than 10 minutes a day. The beauty of the rituals in this guide is that they can effortlessly work around your schedule to help you feel like the best version of you. So when you order 3 bottles or more, you'll get both of these amazing bonuses added directly to your order. That's over $46 of additional value to your life for free. Plus, if you really want to prolong and compound the effects of MenoPhix, then I'm going to continue the goodwill by practically giving away the 6-month package for the generously low price of just $39 per bottle. That works out to just $1.30 per day. And with the 6-month supply, you get both bonuses, the Menopause Detox and the Menopause Mindset Makeover. Plus, you get free shipping on your order anywhere in the continental US. So to avoid the misery of coming back to this page and seeing we're all out of stock, I do what all of our smartest customers do and purchase as many bottles as you're able to right now, especially as this is the only page where you'll get this heavily reduced price. All you've got to do is simply click your preferred discounted package below this video right now. Choose from either the 6-bottle option, which is our most generously discounted package, the 3-bottle option, which is our best-selling option, or the single bottle. Then you'll be taken to a secure checkout page where you'll be able to enter your details, like where you want your life-changing MenoPhix bottles to be sent to. Then as soon as you submit your payment details, which are processed through our safe and encrypted payment processor, our friendly warehouse team in Ohio will pick and pack your order right away. They'll make sure it's shipped and delivered to your chosen address within 2 to 3 business days. But please, if you miss this opportunity right now and return to see that we're out of stock or that the price has doubled, please don't write me begging for today's discount. At the moment, we're testing to see if we can make these numbers work and if the systems we have in place can keep up with the demand. If you pass up on your one chance right now, there's nothing more I can do for you. So to avoid disappointment, select your preferred discounted package below right now. After living with my wife during menopause and seeing how it turned her life upside down, I can understand if you're still skeptical, questioning, does this really work? Well, I've shown you the undeniable proof from world-famous institutions like Harvard and the Women's Brain Initiative that all point to menopause starting in the brain. And I've walked you through dozens of studies that prove the ingredients inside MenoPhix can increase brain-derived estrogen. But I'm going to go the extra step and help you out even more, because maybe you need to feel more secure about your investment today. This is why I'm going to back up your order today with a 180-day, no questions asked, 100% money-back guarantee. If you make your order right now and you start taking MenoPhix, but don't feel cool without blowing the AC, or as energized and on the ball as you were in your prime, then you can send us back your unused bottles and get every dime back. If your night sweats don't become a long-distant memory, that you start to question whether they were ever that bad to begin with, I will personally see to it that you get all of your money back. If after 180 days, for some strange reason, you look at yourself in the mirror and don't notice that your skin is more plump, glowy, and radiant, that your hair is thicker, fuller, and shinier, and that your friends and family aren't begging you to tell them your secret, then I don't want to keep your money. You'll get everything you paid today, adding straight back to your bank account. No questions asked. All you have to do to lock in your special discounted rates and your 100% money back guarantee is click your preferred package below this video right now. Then fill in your payment details using a credit or debit card on the next page via our secure and encrypted payment processor. And your order will be packaged today and shipped to you within 2 to 3 business days with your 100% money back guarantee. You're risking absolutely nothing. In fact, all the risk is actually on me. But I'm happy to do it because if I don't get you every result I've promised in this video, then I don't deserve your hard-earned money anyway. But I know that you will get everything I've described and more. So now is the time for you to take one of 3 options. You can either exit this video and try to forget everything I've just told you. Try to forget all of the scientific studies I've shown you that proves estrogen declining in your brain is the real root cause of your symptoms. And that in order to avoid night sweats, brain fog, memory lapses, and weight gain, all you have to do is take a perfect ratio of herbs that will turn on your estrogen switch. It helps normalize your body temperature, makes your mind as sharp as a razor, and burns the menopausal fat that you've been struggling to lose. Or you can try to source all of these ingredients for yourself. You can spend hundreds of hours traveling all around the world to get the perfect blend of herbs. Then you'll spend years experimenting with different amounts and ratios, trying to find the perfect balance that took Dr. Diaz's lifetime to discover for herself. Or you can make the smart choice. You can grab this opportunity that's in front of you with both hands. You can choose to go down the easy path, the path that's already been mapped out for you, by taking advantage of the generous savings below this video right now. And start supplementing with the time-tested formula that's already been scientifically proven to help reverse your menopausal symptoms. The hard work's already been done for you. Just imagine yourself a few weeks from now, seeing a beaming smile on your face as you catch a glance of yourself in the mirror, realizing how beautiful and slim your body has become. Waking up every morning excited to get ready for the day. Running your fingers through all of your favorite clothes hanging up in your wardrobe. Searching for an outfit that will show off your gorgeous figure instead of trying to hide it in shame. Being so alert and full of energy that the tasks currently taking you days or even weeks to do will be completed in days, even hours. All because you made the smart decision today. All of that will be your new reality once you click the button below. I don't want you to live in regret. Go to bed tonight wishing and praying you come across this video one more time so that you can make the decision you should have made right here, right now. click that button below, because that button is your way out of menopause misery. The moment you click it is the moment you make the decision to live an easier life. Click that button, and on the other side, you'll be one step closer to putting your hot flashes on ice. Click that button, and on the other side, you'll be one step closer to a clear mind and laser-sharp concentration. Click that button, and on the other side, you'll be one step closer to a slimmer, more toned body. Click that button, and on the other side, set yourself free from the menopause meltdown. And don't forget, you're not risking anything here. In fact, all the risk is on me. Because remember, if you're not happy for any reason whatsoever, or no reason at all you have to do is let me know, and I'll personally see to it that you're fully refunded every single dime. No questions asked. If I'm wrong, all you've lost is a few minutes of your time and a quick email to our friendly customer service team here in Ohio. But what if I'm right? The truth is, I'm not asking you to buy anything here. All I'm asking you to do is try. I'm not asking you to say yes. I'm asking you to say maybe. Just say maybe for 180 days. Use MenoPhix to cool down your hot flashes, melt away stubborn belly fat, and reduce your mood swings. Use MenoPhix to get the upper hand on the menopause meltdown once and for all. And if you don't feel the results, then you don't pay. It's up to you. A month from today, you can be nothing more than 30 days older. Or you can be on your way to reversing all of your menopause symptoms. It's time for you to decide. You can get your very own bottle of MenoPhix for the low price of just $59. That works out to just $1.97 per day. That's less than a cup of coffee from your favorite cafe. Or you can select our best-selling option, a 3-month supply for just $49 per bottle. That's just $1.63 per day. Plus, I'll add the 2 bonus gifts to your order, the Menopause Detox and the Menopause Mindset Makeover, for 0 additional cost. Or you can select our biggest saving package, a 6-month supply for just $39 per bottle. That works out to just $1.30 per day. Not only will I add both of the bonus gifts for free, but we'll also deliver your order with 0 shipping fee. So select your preferred package below. I can't wait to see your life change for the better. Thank you for your time, and God bless. You still there? I want you to be 100% confident in your decision to order MenoPhix today. So let's answer some common questions that I get. Is MenoPhix right for me? Well, are you struggling through perimenopause or menopause? Then the answer is yes. MenoPhix has changed the lives of women over 40 and some even younger from all over the world, and is designed to alleviate night sweats, brain fog, memory lapses, and weight gain. But if by the rare chance it doesn't, which is highly unlikely due to the research backing the formula, then you're protected by our ironclad 180-day money-back guarantee. That's how confident we are in the power of MenoPhix. How does MenoPhix work? MenoPhix is the first product in the world clinically proven to reduce menopausal symptoms by safely replenishing your brain with estrogen, the master control female hormone that starts to decline after the age of 30. Unlike dangerous aromatase inhibiting supplements on the market that suppress your estrogen levels and amplify your menopausal symptoms, with MenoPhix, you're increasing your brain-derived estrogen levels from suboptimal to how they were in your prime. What's inside MenoPhix? Inside every MenoPhix capsule is a unique proprietary blend of natural plants and nutrients that boost brain-derived estrogen to optimal levels. They are Mayura puama, zingiber, sarsaparilla, mucuna pruriens, ashwagandha, and horny goatweed. Is MenoPhix safe? MenoPhix is an all-natural proprietary formula manufactured in the USA at our FDA-registered and GMP-certified facility using state-of-the-art precision-engineered machinery under the strictest and most sterile standards. Each ingredient is 100% plant-based, soy-free, dairy-free, vegetarian, and non-GMO. and put through additional third-party inspections and quality control to ensure high purity and potency. The only reported side effect for MenoPhix is sleeping through the alarm because you're enjoying a blissful dream and needing to buy new clothes because you've now dropped a dress size or two. As always, I advise you to show a bottle of this to your doctor before you take it, just to be safe. What if MenoPhix doesn't work for me? We're confident that MenoPhix will give you the powerful support you need to reverse your menopause symptoms. But we also know no supplement has a 100% success rate. Even if we get close, there may be a very small number of customers this doesn't work for. And that's why every single bottle of MenoPhix comes with our personal 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee. If for any reason you're unsatisfied with your results, you can just return what you haven't used for a full, no questions asked refund. How many bottles should you order if you're over 40 years old? Dr. Diaz recommends you take MenoPhix for at least 3 to 6 months, so it has enough time to work throughout your entire body to boost your brain-derived estrogen levels and compound the effects for years into the future. Every 3-bottle package of MenoPhix comes with the 2 bonus books worth $49. Absolutely free. Or make the smart decision and get the heavily discounted 6-bottle package, which comes with the 2 bonus books worth $49, absolutely free, along with free shipping as well. Remember, stock is running out fast, so even more reason to pick up 3 or 6-bottle packages before the price goes up, or we sell out completely. What's the best way to take MenoPhix? Take 1 capsule of MenoPhix with a big glass of water every day. Its bespoke proprietary blend of natural ingredients will get to work cooling your body temperature, melting stubborn body fat, and recharging your energy levels even when sleeping. Is this a one-time payment? Yes. Your order today is a one-time payment with no auto-ship subscriptions or hidden charges. How quickly will my order arrive? We ship out orders the same day they're received. So if you're in the US, you can expect the package in 2 to 3 business days. If you're outside the US, it'll be longer depending on your local carriers. Finally, what do I do now? Well, this is the fun part. Click on one of the packages below. For today only, you can get your very own bottle of MenoPhix for the shockingly low price of $59. That works out to just $1.97 per day. However, I recommend the 3-month supply, just $49 per bottle. That's $163 per day to get your life back. Plus, when you order 3 bottles or more, you'll receive 2 amazing bonus gifts worth over $46 that will compound your results, taking MenoPhix, the Menopause Detox, and the Menopause Mindset Makeover. Or you can select the 6-month package for the generously low price of just $39 per bottle. That works out to just $130 per day. And with the 6-month supply, not only will you receive both bonus gifts, but I'll also deliver your order for free so long as you live in the US. So once you've entered your order details on our secure checkout page, we'll get your order shipped out to you straight away. Remember, your order is covered with our personal 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee. So there's no risk to you at all. Stock is running out fast and prices may go up at any moment, so just go ahead and click the button below. Complete your checkout, and I'll be talking to you soon.